What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome to the Tailgate Nate Sports Show. I cover the NFL, MLB, NBA, MLS, and NHL. Today, we're going to be covering the week from September 20th to September 26th. And on the agenda today, the playoffs are almost here in Major League Baseball. Got a couple games still to wrap up and a couple teams and places still to figure out. Who do I think is going to advance to the second round? Because matchups are not set, I'll just give you 8 teams that I think will make it to the second round. And then the NBA Finals are almost here. Who do I think is going to win the NBA championship? And did anyone take home the Stanley Cup this week? Or excuse me, I should say last week in the NHL? And if not, will it be decided this week? I'll talk about all of that and more coming up on the Tailgate Nate Sports Show. Okay, so we start in the NFL. Just a couple headlines here for you. The Bears and running back Tarik Cohen agreed on a 3-year, $17.25 million extension. So Tarik Cohen seems to be the future of the running back at the Bears organization for years to come. So congrats on the contract for Tarik Cohen. Colts safety Malik Hooker is going to be out for the season with a torn Achilles. He's a big part of their defense, and the Colts have shown a lot of improvement this year. So we'll have to see if they can find a safety to come in and play some good time for Malik Hooker, but Colts are going to miss him. They really are. Saquon Barkley tears his ACL. He's going to be out for the season. He is a running back for the New York Giants, and this is an absolutely huge loss. The Giants are already in sort of a rebuild fashion, but now they're going to have to rebuild without their star running back, and this season looks like it's not going to be that great for the Giants. The Broncos signed quarterback Blake Bortles after Drew Lock got injured. So Drew Lock went down with an injury in their last game. They had to play Jeff Driscoll, and now looks like Blake Bortles is finally going to be on a team since he was the quarterback for Jacksonville a couple years ago and just hasn't really panned out since. So we'll see if he can get back in the spotlight with Denver, but Jeff Driscoll looks to be their quarterback right now, and Blake Bortles might be their backup, and we'll have to wait and see when Drew Lock comes back. And then a Chargers trainer accidentally punctures quarterback Tyrod Taylor's lung. He was trying to administer a pain-relieving injection. Don't know really why it was to the chest area, but the needle just went too deep and his lung was punctured, so we'll have to see how long Tyrod Taylor is out and if any investigation goes on into this, because the world we live in now, hey, there could be, right? But that's your NFL headlines. Let's take a look at some scores and stats. Lots of scores and stats here for you. First off, the Cowboys and Falcons played in a really, really good game. I mean, like a really good game. The Cowboys were down by a couple scores, but in the last closing seconds, they came back, fought it off, and got the game-winning field goal to beat the Falcons 40-39. Prescott played well. How about the rookie CD Lamb? Balling out on the field. Of course, Elliott doing Elliott things. And Calvin Ridley's played amazing as well. But the Cowboys get the last-second win. Titans beat the Jaguars 33-30, and the Jaguars have already shown some signs of improvement, but Ryan Tannehill played really well. Smith played really well. How about Robinson for Jacksonville as well? And Gardner Minshew has just played fantastic. So the Titans do get the win here. I do think they were overall the better team. But the Jacksonville definitely showed signs of improvement. And speaking of showing signs of improvement, the Indianapolis Colts beat the Minnesota Vikings 28-11. Phillip Rivers played much better this game than he did last game, although the stats might not show it. He definitely did. Ali Cox, 5 receptions for 111 yards, and Kirk Cousins just did not play well at all. No touchdowns and 3 interceptions for Kirk Cousins. And how about this kid, Jonathan Taylor? Nyheim Hines I thought was going to be the starter, but they gave a lot of the workload to Jonathan Taylor. We all know what he could do at Wisconsin, and now here, absolutely brilliant. The Bills beat the Dolphins 31-28. The Dolphins scored in the last minute to make it closer, but the Bills still come away with the win. Stephon Diggs catches his first touchdown pass as a Buffalo Bill. Mike Gesicki played absolutely fantastic in that game, and it really was the passing attacks that were prominent in this game. Rushing yards, only 112-99 in favor of Buffalo, so not a lot gained on the ground, but a lot gained through the air, and ultimately the Bills and Allen just ended up passing for more. So The Bills get the win here. The Steelers get the win over the Broncos. Roethlisberger played pretty decent in that game, and now he's climbing the ranks as an all-time great quarterback. James Conner played well. Johnson played well. And, of course, Jeff Driscoll had to play because Drew Lock got hurt. But I don't think much of a surprise in this one as Steelers get the win. The Chiefs and Chargers went into overtime. The Chiefs ended up winning on a field goal. Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce each caught a touchdown pass. And Justin Herbert came into play after Tyrod Taylor went down, and he played pretty well. Justin Herbert looks to be the quarterback for the next couple weeks for the Chargers, but they have said that once Tyrod gets back healthy, he is their starter. Seahawks and Patriots played in Sunday Night Football. Russell Wilson threw for 5 touchdowns, in which 5 different wide receivers caught each of those touchdown passes. Cam Newton was great through the air and on the ground, 397 yards, 179 of those to Julian Edelman, a touchdown and an interception, along with 2 rushing touchdowns on the ground. But the Seahawks edge out the Patriots 35-30. The Raiders beat the Saints 34-24 as Derek Carr throws 3 touchdown passes. Josh Jacobs didn't get in the end zone, but still had a big game. And Darren Waller, 103 yards in the touchdown. That kid played well, as did Alvin Kamara. But the Raiders looking to be a pretty solid team this year. They are 2-0, 34-24. They beat the Saints. Then on Thursday Night Football, the Dolphins beat the Jaguars 31-13 as Ryan Fitzpatrick throws for 2 touchdowns. Gardner Minshew played well, didn't throw for a touchdown. But again, how about this Robinson kid? 11 carries, 46 yards, and 2 touchdowns, along with 6 receptions for 83 yards. And Devontae Parker played well as well, 5 catches for 69 yards. But Fitzmagic and the Dolphins win this one. There are your scores and stats. Again, no predictions, as that is your NFL news. All right, we move on to the MLS, where a big headline: MLS releases the rest of the schedule for 2020. There are going to be 9 games left for each of the teams as of the date of the headline. And decision day, so the teams that are going to make the playoff. Remember, there are 18 teams that make the playoff this year. Decision day is going to be on November 8th. So we have about a month. We have about a month and a little bit until decision day is reached, and have to see who gets in. LAFC defender Danilo Silva is announcing his retirement, a big part of that defense, and has had a long, successful career with LAFC and other teams around the globe. So I wish Danilo Silva the best in retirement. NYCFC forward Heber went out with a torn ACL, so he's going to be out for the season. That's a big loss for NYCFC. They're trying to push towards a playoff spot. I believe that they are in one right now, although we'll look at standings here in a little bit. But that's a big loss for NYCFC. CONMEBOL players won't be able to return to South America for that championship. The MLS is just saying no because of contact tracing and everything like that. So players that played in South America and like the Argentine leagues and the Brazilian leagues, they won't be able to go back down. So they're going to stay right where they are. Colorado has positive tests, which means that game with Sporting Kansas City today was canceled. So we'll have to see when Colorado can get back on the pitch. I don't know that they're going to be able to make up this game, but they're playing pretty well right now. So I have no doubt that Colorado should be able to find their way into a playoff spot, although this one game might hurt them in the long run if they don't play well. But there are your headlines. Some scores and stats from around the league last week. Toronto and NYFC played to a 1-0 last-minute goal. Alejandro Pasuelo in the 90th minute on a penalty kick. Each team has 4 cards. A lot of cards thrown out last week. Columbus beat Minnesota 2-1 in a rematch of that knockout stage, and Columbus exacted their revenge. Lucas Zelarayan and Pedro Sancho scored for the Crew, and Robin Lode scored for the Loons. Columbus gets a card, Minnesota gets 3. Orlando beats Sporting Kansas City 2-1 off Tesho Akindele and Benji Michel in about 3 minutes. Johnny Russell scores for Sporting KC, but was not enough. Again, 3 cards to each side, but Orlando wins 2-1. And Portland beats Seattle off an early goal from Yumi Chara in the 13th minute. Each team gets 3 goals. I thought that was probably the best game of the week, although you probably could argue Columbus and Minnesota. There was a controversial no goal call in there that definitely maybe should have counted. And keep in mind, I am a Crew fan. I do feel like that goal should have counted. However, it didn't, and there's nothing we can do about it now. So the Crew win 2-1. Already talked about it, but there were some great games on last week. And those are your scores and stats. Again, let's take a look at the standings. The Crew currently holds Supporters Shield spot, and it does not seem that they're going to want to let it go. You see there Orlando City with 25 points, along with Philadelphia and Toronto. So lots up there. New York City FC has climbed the table. They're in that 5th spot now with 20 points. When we look towards the bottom of the table, you got the Chicago Fire, Inter Miami CF, and DC United. FC Cincinnati is kind of a team that's there. They just got to figure some more stuff out. But teams that have dropped there, again, Atlanta, just lots of trouble there. They might squeak into a playoff spot if they can find a way to get past Nashville. But Nashville in their first year looking to get into a playoff spot. I think Inter Miami definitely has the talent. They just need to show it. And in the Western Conference, it's going to be Seattle and Portland. That's why that game was so important. We'll have to see how these standings shape out as we're down to about a month left in the regular season, and that is your MLS news. I will move on to Major League Baseball, where the playoffs are almost set. We got games today, and I believe a couple games might be played tomorrow. We'll have to see how that shakes out. But the MLB and MLBPA pledged $10 million to fund programs for Black participation. You just see baseball as a predominantly white sport, and they want to get more people involved. And this pledge basically says we're going to open up to who we hire and who we scout. That's just what this agreement is saying. And it says seeding is going to decide who bats last in the World Series. So not win percentage, not who they beat or anything like that. It's going to be seeding. So if the 1 seed in the East and 2 seed in, if the 1 seed in the American League and 2 seed in the National League get into the World Series, the 1 seed in the American League will bat last. So that is how that is going to work. Indians manager Terry Francona is going to rejoin the team during the postseason, as all of the American League teams are set for the playoffs, and it's going to be great to see Terry Francona back on that. Back in that dugout. A couple players announced their retirement this week, as the first to do was Royals outfielder Alex Gordon. He's been in the league for, I believe, 14 years, and all of them have been with the Royals. He's won a World Series with them. An absolutely phenomenal player, and I wish him the best in retirement. Thom Brennaman resigns from the Reds broadcasting position after what he said. I think it was about a month ago. So Thom Brennaman no longer going to be in the broadcast booth for the Cincinnati Reds. They're going to have to find a new broadcaster, and we'll see if Thom Brennaman gets a job somewhere else or if his career is done. Nationals manager Dave Martinez gets a 3-year, $7.5 million extension. And although the Nationals aren't going to be able to make the playoffs this year, still have some great talent. Just didn't pan out for them in the 60-game season. But Dave Martinez is going to be there for some years to come. And the other player to announce their retirement this week, the Giants outfielder Hunter Pence is going to announce his retirement as well. Hunter Pence is an absolutely phenomenal outfielder, has been all-stars, won a couple World Series rings with the Giants. Definitely a franchise player for San Francisco. And again, I wish him the best in retirement. Let's take a look at scores and stats that have helped shape the playoff field up to this point. The Reds beat the Brewers 6-1, as this was the last meeting between the two clubs. Again, this was before the Reds ended up getting into the playoff. We'll look at that here in a little bit. But that game definitely has shaped this playoff field to what we get into is going to be a crazy final day in the world of baseball. Bauer gets the win, and I think has locked up the Cy Young Award after DeGrom's pitching performance in the game we're about to see in a little bit. But the Marlins beat the Yankees in 10 as they clinched their first playoff berth since 2003. After a 108-loss season, the Marlins are in the playoffs, and who expected this? Will the Marlins make noise in the playoffs? Maybe. I don't think so. They've been playing some pretty decent baseball. Kinsler is going to finish the season with 12 saves. That, again, if he doesn't pitch today. But, yeah, the Marlins played it really, really well. They played well to this point. I wish them the best of luck in the playoffs. But the Reds clinched their first playoff berth since 2013 with a win over the Minnesota Twins. And the crazy thing is the Reds could still find themselves in a top 6 spot. The Cardinals haven't even clinched the playoff spot. We'll talk about them here in a little bit. But I have 4 games that happened yesterday that really, really have helped shape was going to be a crazy final day. But the Mets eliminated from playoff contention after a loss against the Nationals. I probably should have put in here, I do believe that this was a doubleheader game, so it happened in 7. And this was the game that Jacob deGrom just did not pitch all that well, and I think is why Trevor Bauers locked up that Cy Young award. The Brewers beat the Cardinals 3-0 to keep their playoff hopes alive, and they got to beat them again today if they're going to want to get into the playoffs. The Rays beat the Phillies 4-3 as the Phillies are trying to get into a playoff spot and just can't. The Padres beat the Giants 6-2. As that just sets up for an absolutely crazy day today. There are so many scenarios. I do not have time to go through them all. But let's look at the playoff field right now. So my face is covering a couple of them, but the other 2 teams you see up there is going to be San Francisco and Philadelphia. Those 2 teams hoping to get into the playoffs, but as of right now, the Brewers are in the playoffs. These are the playoff matchups if the season were to end today, which of course the season is not going to end today. There's going to be some shuffling around, but these are the teams that you're likely going to see in the playoff field. Again, the American League is set. So who's going to make it to the next round? I think no matter who they play, it's going to be these 8 teams. I feel like it's going to be the Blue Jays, Twins, Athletics, White Sox, and the Dodgers, Braves, Cubs, and Padres over there in the National League. I just think these teams have shown all year that they are some of the best teams. Sorry, guys, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. I must be tired. And although teams like the Yankees and Astros and Indians have proven that they can be there, I just don't feel like they're going to be good enough this year, and I don't think it matters who they play. Also, when you look over here, the Dodgers, Braves, Cubs, and Padres, I feel like are going to make it. Again, sleepers could be the Marlins, could be the Reds. If the Giants get in, they'll have to play the Dodgers. But, hey, I just think that these 8 teams that I have out here have shown that they've proven themselves all year and that they can do some incredible things and go win a World Series title. But that is your MLB news. All right, moving on to the NBA. Got only 2 headlines. They're just the 2 most notable. But Adam Silver says next season likely to not start until 2021. So that would be like in January of 2021 is when the season would kick off. Which sounds about right to me, you know. I also think with the sport we're going to look at next, National Hockey League, they want to get ahead of basketball. And I think this is great news for them. But, again, for NBA fans, likely looking at a shortened 2021 season. Billy Donovan agrees to become the next head coach of the Chicago Bulls after resigning from the spot with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So the Bulls have found their next head coach. Got to wait to see what the Thunder do. But Billy Donovan going to go coach the Bulls. Again, those are your headlines. Take a look at how the conference finals are shaping out. The Miami Heat and Boston Celtics are in a thriller of a series. Heat were up 3-1. Game 6 is tonight, so the Heat can clinch their spot in the NBA Finals, while the Lakers have already clinched their spot in the NBA Finals. LeBron, AD, and company are going to the NBA Finals as they beat the Denver Nuggets in 5 games. The comeback kids will not come back this time as they are eliminated from the playoffs. Again, we'll have to see who wins that Celtics-Heat series. Here are how my predictions have fared so far. I did predict the Lakers in 6. I got the team right, of course, not the amount of games right. And I predicted the Heat in 7. So if the Celtics win tonight and then the Heat win in a couple days, that prediction is right. But the Heat have played such good basketball. So now Moving on to the NBA Finals, who do I think is going to win the Larry O'Brien Trophy? Of course, it is the Lakers in the Western Conference. But in the Eastern Conference, it is either going to be Boston or Miami. I think no matter who the Lakers play, it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal series. But just seeing the way the Lakers played against the Nuggets and how exhausted either the Celtics or the Heat are going to be, I think the Celtics are going to be more exhausted than the Heat. But, I mean, the Lakers have just played some of the best basketball I've seen them play all year. I watched pretty much the entire game last night while I was watching so many other sports on at once. The Lakers are going to be your NBA champions, at least if my opinion were to count for anything. But the Lakers, I predict, are going to win the NBA Finals. I think it's going to be a thrilling series either way, whether, again, it'd be the Celtics or the Heat. This trophy is not going to go down easily, but that is your NBA news. All right, now we move on to our last sport of the day, the NHL. Did anyone take home the Stanley Cup last week? Well, first, some headlines. The NHL awards did happen last week. Who got awards? Well, the Calder Trophy, which goes to the best rookie, goes to Cale Makar. I think he absolutely deserves it. He played phenomenal for Colorado this year. And I think Cale Makar is going to win a cup with Colorado here in the near future with guys like Landeskog and Nathan MacKinnon. The Vezina Trophy, which goes to the best goaltender, goes to Connor Hellebuyck of the Winnipeg Jets, and I think it's got to. I don't think Tuukka Rask played enough games. Markstrom, while he was good, wasn't that great at the beginning of the season, but Connor Hellebuyck wins the Vezina Trophy. The Norris Trophy, which goes to the best defenseman, goes to Roman Josi of Nashville. He finally won a Norris Trophy. I mean, Roman Josi, it's about time, right? Has been absolutely fantastic for Nashville for so many years and finally walks away with a Norris Trophy. And the Lindsay and Hart Trophy, which are the MVP trophies, the Lindsay as voted on by the players and the Hart as voted on by the official voters. It's going to go to Leon Draisaitl, and are we really surprised? Beats out Nathan MacKinnon for both awards, as Leon Draisaitl was the only player to reach 100 points in the regular season this year. Absolutely deserves both trophies. Good job, Leon Draisaitl. Bob Wagner is going to have the interim tag removed and will be the head coach of the Sharks next year. We'll have to see how he does, as the Sharks look to hope to get back into a playoff spot after missing them this year. NHL teams can open training facilities October 15th. Remember, the draft is, I believe, going to be October 6th and 7th, and then free agency starts on October 9th. We've already had some buyouts, but how about this trade from the Penguins? They trade Patrick Hornqvist to Florida. So Patrick Hornqvist is going to go Florida. This isn't even a capped-up trade because the two players that the Penguins got are going to be more expensive combined than Patrick Hornqvist. So, again, the Penguins looking to improve now rather than later. And I don't really know who won or lost this trade. I'd have to look at it closer, but Patrick Hornqvist going to go be a Florida Panther. The Habs defenseman Jeff Petrie agrees to a 4-year, $25 million extension with the Montreal Canadiens. Petrie played really, really well last year and hoping to continue that success into the shortened 2021 season. So Jeff Petrie going to be the future of that blue line for the Canadiens. The Senators are going to buy out Bobby Ryan's contract. Bobby Ryan's been in the league for a long time. The Senators are going to buy him out, so Bobby Ryan's going to go try to find a new team or retire. I feel like he could retire at this point. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but Bobby Ryan's had a pretty incredible career. And another blockbuster trade, Detroit gets defenseman Mark Stahl from the Rangers, along with a draft pick for future considerations yet to be named. But Detroit looking to improve already. This is a Detroit team with a lot of draft picks. They know it's going to take a couple of years, but hoping to improve just a little bit this year as they get Mark Stahl. All right, here are your scores from the Stanley Cup, and no one walked away with the Stanley Cup last week. Tampa Bay Lightning are up 3-2. After losing game 1, they won 3 in a row They won 3 in a row, including a 5, well, guys, I must be really tired today. I apologize. But including an epic 5-4 win in overtime on a very controversial penalty that I don't think that the Lightning should have won on. They called Jamie Benn for tripping, and go back and watch it. But I feel like anyone would take my side here. But that shouldn't have been tripping. It just shouldn't have been. It was a nice, clean hockey play, and the Lightning ended up winning on the power play. Dallas ends up winning yesterday, though, in double overtime. So Game 6 on Monday, will the Lightning take home a cup, or will the Stars force Game 7? We'll have to find out. Remember, I did predict the Lightning to win in 7 games. They're up 3-2 to take home the Stanley Cup. It's going to be an exciting finish. Again, I just don't see how Tampa's going to be able to let this cup go. They want to prove the doubters wrong this year, and they're just on a mission to do that. We're going to have to see how it finishes out, but these two teams have played some really, really good hockey down the stretch. I wish both teams the best of luck. That is your NHL news. All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for this sports show. Sorry if my green screen was weird throughout this video. It's kind of dark in my room right now. My lights are kind of broken, so I'll have to go fix those later. But again, sorry if that was weird. Yeah, it looks like it was being weird. So again, sorry for that, but thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like. Also consider subscribing if you are brand new to the channel, or you just enjoy my content and turn that notification bell so you do not miss an upload, and you can join Tailgate Nation. Also leave a comment down below. Tell me your thoughts on this past week and sports. I will see you guys next week. Remember to play hard and tailgate harder. Goodbye.